Welcome, everyone, to our Senator Sports Talk tonight. I'm joined by head girls basketball coach Kristen Messamore. Kristen, been a while since we've talked. It was, I think, before Christmas break that we talked. So lots of basketball has gone on since then. You played in the Northeast DuBois tournament. Well, actually, let's go back. You played Springs Valley before that. So, talk to me a little bit about that game, December 19th. That seems like forever ago.
That does. So Springs Valley, I really, we came out, we played well. We were, we were on our court here trying to cause some problems in the conference, and we just came up short there. I still think, I don't know. There's things that just seems like it happens to us. They came out and hit some shots on us that, we're thinking we got to cover certain people, and they have some other people step up, and so we just kind of struggled on that one. From that, though, we've really been trying, as we've been going through these games, really working on our defense. And, like I told the girls tonight, just because you're scoring 2 points, if you can't stop your girl, it's an even trade there.
Yeah.
So we're really, really working on trying to learn our defense and take it to that next level.
And you talked about defense. You went, to the Northeast DuBois tournament. Like I talked, you played Northeast DuBois that very first game, and I thought your defense was pretty good in that game. It didn't seem like any shots were falling. You were getting open looks. They weren't going in.
Yeah, we were. That was definitely. I felt like we went down there and our defense did pick up. And then I don't know. I felt like we did the same thing down there last year, because last year we were there. It wasn't in the tournament, but we played them in regular season, and we just struggled just putting the ball in the basket. And, if you can't, even if your defense is great, you got to be able to put that ball in the basket. So I do feel like that we struggled with the same thing as far as going down there. And, we had a 10:30 game, which these girls are not used to a 10:30 game.
Morning games,
Yeah,
they're
these,
not
these morning.
a
We had
friend.
Wright River Valley that was in
Yeah.
the morning. We had Linton Central.
Yep.
Or Linton Stockton. And
Yeah.
we, anytime we have these early morning games, it takes us a while to wake up, and we just can't do that.
Well, the good news is you did play the night game there. It was the consolation game with North Davies, where you were victorious 75-41. So your girls came out, in that second game and really put up some offense. I believe that's the fourth most points that you scored this year, with 75. So that's a great offensive output from your girls.
Right. I think one thing, which I'm trying to get these girls to believe in themselves. I think we've got a lot of good shooters. We have a lot of people that can put the ball in the basket. We have people that can drive. We have people that can shoot the three. Just like right now, we ran a shooting drill. We called our 4-minute shooting, and every girl shoots for 4 minutes, and they have to hit so many shots, and then they start shooting threes. And I would say out of our 15 girls, we had probably 12 to 13 shooting the threes after that 4 minutes.
Right.
And so they can shoot, but they've got to believe they can in a game. They've got to be ready to shoot. We've been trying to take some time to get them, ready to shoot, and talking to them about, in and outs. Just because you pass the ball in the post, now you got to move, get yourself open. And so just learning and continuing to build on, how do you get yourself ready to shoot? How do you get yourself in position? How do you get your feet ready? And we're still just continuing to work on that. But when we can set and do a 4-minute shooting drill, they can shoot the lights out. But we just got to convert that into game situations.
Let's talk about two games you might want to forget a little bit. The Trinity Lutheran game that you played January 4th, a 3 overtime game where, you're up and down. You have girls in foul trouble. You run out of quarters with girls. You just don't have enough, to be able to go at the end. You've got probably a lineup that you never thought you'd have on the floor. You've got Meredith, who's on the floor playing center because she's the tallest girl that you have at the moment. You've got another 4 girls out there who are 5'5" or under, but you're still competing. You're still trying to get that win. What does that do for your team, knowing that, hey, we can go all the way through our varsity roster, down to our JV players that are in at the end of that game, and they're still competing?
I hated that we came up with the loss in that. 3 overtimes. Every time we ended up going in the overtime there, I was so proud of the grit. That's one thing I've been trying to get these girls is to get that grit and continue to push and finish games. And I was so proud to see the grit. And yes, I have never in my life ran out of players like that. I was so we had I believe I had 4 girls foul out. I had then each night girls can play 5 quarters, and we had tallied our time up, and we had there ended up actually being a book error that we're not sure what happened with one of the girls. We thought we had a quarter with her, but we were down to, you were right, like we had 4 little guards and Meredith. But those girls, I tell you what, they went hard, and they're proven to me that they're building, and it's going to be a battle on who's varsity players in the future, and they're showing how hard they're working, and they aren't afraid to come in. And every girl that came in that game, so let's see, I think I dressed 12 that night, so 11 girls scored in that game.
Yeah, that's what I had. I had 11 that got in the scoring column.
So they got in, they came down. I mean, the little fast break here, and Lainey Cameron came down and popped a little jumper there, and she came down, and she actually got a foul that we needed. We needed to stop the clock, and she knew what to do. And I was really proud of her. Because I haven't given, she hadn't gotten the varsity time, and then she comes in a varsity game in the 3rd overtime and did a great job. I was really proud of her. But all the girls did. Elena Schmidt came in and did a good job. I mean, everybody that came in. Oh, I did have a girl sick that night too.
Yeah.
Macy Lowry was out. She wasn't even here. So, another player we were just missing. So there was a lot of obstacles in that game. You leave that game, frustrated that you lost. But then there's a little part of your heart that just so proud of how hard they fought. The girls that had fouled out or out of quarters or whatever it was, they're on that bench just cheering. And that's what a team is about, is cheering each other on. And it's not at the end of the day who's got the most points. It's not which in that game.
We're going to get there.
But it's not who gets all the points. And there at the end, I mean, Meredith, we were just running like a dribble drive, and we were just having her take it. And wish she had the soft touch that night. It was one of those nights where she just felt it. But the feeling at the end of that game, though, in my heart was that everybody was cheering for everyone. Everybody gave everything they had. And at the end, we had some questionable little calls there, and we ended up on the short end of the stick. But
I saw it from my vantage point up here. Your girls at the end of the game, when you lose a 3 overtime game, you're usually upset because you've got those 3 overtimes and you haven't been able to get the job done. But your girls were happy. They were smiling. They were joking. They were having a good time at the end of the game. Of course, they're upset that they didn't get the win, but they were very congratulatory. I can't get that word out. Very happy for Meredith, who set the school record that night. I mean, she scored 39 points, which is the West Washington school record.
You're right. There's 2 sides of that. I don't want them to be too happy that we didn't win.
Right.
But I do feel like it was more of they were kind of proud of each other and happy that each person that did come in did what they needed to do, and it felt like a team. And that's what we're striving for here. I mean, basketball is a different creature here, and you have to play as a team, and everyone has to work together in order to be successful. I think that night, at the end of the night, everybody did feel a part of it, and everybody, did. When you're fouled out or quartered out or whatever, and your only hope is who's out, you're cheering them on.
Yeah.
And I was proud of the girls.
And we talked about it. Meredith goes out and scores 39 in that game, and it's not, it wasn't the Meredith show. You had other girls who were in, double figures and following Meredith's lead kind of, but she does get a school record there. What does that do for your program, when you have an individual set a school record for you?
Oh, I think that's big, and I think that was good for Meredith as far as building her confidence in herself and seeing what she can do. I mean, I think there's a lot of us that knew that she could do something like that. And Meredith is one. I mean, the other thing I'm going to say is she has done some things in the off season when we're not in this gym, Meredith is in this gym. She's, I think her parents bring her over here and she gets in the gym and she does a lot of that. She also ran cross country because she wanted to get in better shape. And she worked hard at that. And she played from quarter one through the third overtime.
Yeah.
And a lot of her points came in those overtimes where we were running just a dribble drive and we were putting it all on her shoulders. And, a lot of her points came when it was the grit and the cross country training had come in, the extra shots in the gym when she'd put all that extra time in. And it's really good to see that extra time that she put in is paying off for her. I'm proud of her, and I hope it continues, and I hope other girls see that, because I do think that's what it's going to take is putting in that extra time in the off season. After I've told the girls, just because practice is over doesn't mean you guys can't stay and shoot. Doesn't mean you can't stay and run a little extra, and so trying to instill some of that extra work, and for them, I think for the other girls to see what that brought Meredith, maybe it'll be contagious is what I'm hoping.
Well, after that game, you then traveled to Rock Creek. That was yesterday. I think Rock Creek is one of the hardest gyms in the state to shoot in. It's not a very shooter-friendly gym. You go down there and you end up getting beat by 2 there. So tell me a little bit about that game. I know Jayla had 19. I think Ava had 11 maybe or something like that. So it was in that range.
Lily had 10 too.
Yeah. So your bigs are scoring for you. What goes on there?
They're good. They, we had them down. I think 9 points.
Yeah, that's what I had
in the second half there, and we just couldn't hang on. But they're good. I mean, they're good. I think their record is very deceiving. They play some teams in Kentucky. They had some health issues and injuries and things kind of more towards the beginning. If you look at their games,
it's kind of turned around.
Yeah, they lost a bunch at the beginning, and now they're winning a lot. No, they're a good team and athletic, and I thought they put a lot of pressure full court. I really was proud of the girls. I thought we handled the full court press.
I agree with that.
I thought we did.
The full court press really didn't hinder you a whole lot. Sometimes you came down the floor a little too fast and shot some shots that weren't, probably what you wanted.
Right.
But that's what the press does. It speeds you up a little bit, but it didn't speed you up to the point where I thought, oh, they're going too fast here.
Right. No, I think, and that is one thing that I really think the girls, and that's some things we've talked about, is you got to see when you have the break, and then you got to see when you just got to set it up and calm down, bring it out. And actually, we didn't have. That's another thing. It just seems like here too we're missing people every now. We've also had Emma Schmidt was out last game with a sprained ankle, so we had to move Meredith up to a guard, which she's been playing forward all year. But I thought she did a good job. So Meredith and Shelby and Lily took a lot of bringing that ball up. We put Jayla in the middle, and I thought they did a good job staying spread. But I think they're doing a better job as we're going through. They're seeing, when do we take that break and when do we just pull it up? And they were being very patient on their passes. They were staying spread. We're definitely going in the right direction.
Well, Trinity Lutheran, we had a losing streak with them of 7 games. Your next game, which is tomorrow, is Crawford County, which we have a 9-game losing streak against. We haven't beat them since the 13-14 season, I believe. So it's been quite a long time since we've beat the Wolfpack. They're 16-3 this season. They come off a big win over Springs Valley last night. Your schedule at the end of the year is not an easy schedule. You've got Crawford County, who, like I said, is 16-3. You've got Paoli, who's 7-10, but their record's a little deceiving. They play some pretty tough teams. Then you play a Brownstown Central team, which is 12-6, and you end the year with Borden, who's 15-2. So I mean, you've got kind of a who's who at the end of your schedule there.
Yeah, this happened last year. Is these teams at the end of our schedule? I mean, they're tough.
Yeah.
So Crawford's coming in tomorrow, and right now they're undefeated in the conference. So I will say that we do have everybody in the conference cheering for us tomorrow. So I actually talked to the Springs Valley coach today, and just hopefully we can. We're not expected to win.
Right.
They've got us getting, I think, beat by 5.
5 is what last I saw.
But we're home here, and hopefully we can. I've watched some film on them today, and the girls seem to know a few of the girls there. So, I'm hoping we've really had a couple of really good practice here the last couple of days. So hopefully we can come in here and get one of those upsets that we're looking to get.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your season kind of as a whole. One thing that kind of sticks out, your free throws, either you're a dominant free throw shooting team or in the cellar free throw shooting team. There's no middle ground. You've got some girls that you really rely on. Jayla Batt goes to the line about 4 times a game, between 4 and 5 times a game, and she's only knocking down about 50% of her free throws. And I talk to her dad every broadcast. Is she out in the barn, shooting with you, getting some free throws in? And then Lily Thompson just seems to struggle from the free throw line. She doesn't get there quite as much. She gets there about 2 times a game, but is only shooting about 40% from the free throw line. And I saw your practice tonight. You're shooting free throws, for they're making 50 as a team, and your girls are knocking them down. It's I watched those too, and I was like, wait a minute, they're not 50 and 40% free throw shooters here.
Well, once again, it's like our outside shooting. They just, when Jayla Batt goes to the free throw line, she will tell us, like when we're practicing, I can't hit these. And Jayla, she can hit these.
Yeah.
She has to, she's a good shooter. My goodness. Lily can put them in. I think they just have to just settle down. Yes, game situation.
Yeah, it's a little different than
your legs are a little more tired and stuff. Which we've even run some drills where you shoot and when you're tired a little bit. But I think a lot of it is just confidence and knowing you're going to go up there and stick it. Jayla's still a sophomore, which I know but hopefully she can start believing in herself and that she can hit those. Lily at times will be on a streak of hitting 10 in a row.
Yeah, that Lily is such a streaky shooter. Yeah. She can walk up there and knock down 20 or 30 in a row, and then miss the next 10 or 15. So it's one of those you're never quite sure what you're going to get.
And we'll run. So one of the free throw drills we do, they shoot until they miss, and we have had multiple girls that have hit like 25, 26 in a row. And it's different girls. It's never the same.
I watched Eva O'Toole, and she knocked down 14 in a row tonight. I counted them. I was like, holy smokes, she's knocking them down.
Yeah. No, and it's been different girls all the time that'll hit 20-some in a row.
Yeah.
So they can do it. I think, just the game atmosphere and just getting that grit, and I'm going to put this in.
Yeah. So that was my negative. My positive for you, I got 2 of them. Your rebounds, you're killing it on the rebounding side. Sometimes I know that you're frustrated because they're not getting to the rebounds. They're rebounds that you feel like they should get. But, Jayla's getting about 8 a game. Meredith's in the 6 range. You've got your guards who are in the 3-4 range. So, you're getting a lot of rebounds out of your girls. And they're a lot of times they're rebound putbacks with Jayla. She gets a lot of rebounds and they go back in, where your guards are getting rebounds and then they're setting up your offense for you. So you're getting extra possessions there from those rebounds. And your girls have seemed to buy into that. Hey, let's hit the boards hard. Let's make sure we're getting rebounds, and that gets us extra offense.
Right. I think just the discussion with them, which we talked about it again tonight. I always tell the girls, if a shot is coming from one side of the floor, science says 88% of the time it's going to the other side. And you stand over there, you get in front of your girl and blocks them out, you're going to get an easy.
It's
just going to come right to you, and you just put it right back up. And I think they're seeing that that's happening. The other thing is we've really worked on just positioning. At the beginning of the season, we were getting caught behind that weak side player over there. And I think they're doing a much better job. Of course, on defense, we are staying in help side better. But then on offense, when you see a ball going up, you can't stay behind your girl. And I feel like they are starting to understand just, the positioning is one thing. We've done all kinds of blockout drills. We've done circle in the center. We've done the Bob Knight drill where you line them up just across the floor. And if your girl gets around you and touches the line, you get a run. We have done multiple blockout drills. And, they're smart girls. It's just it's just creating it to make a habit of it.
Right.
And so we're still working on creating that habit.
And like I've said in past shows, I'm a big plus-minus person. I look at the plus-minus. And every girl on your team is in the plus plus side of that,
That's
that's outstanding. And I don't know if you know it, if you follow the plus minus or not, but Emma Schmidt is leading you with 7.9 in the plus minus.
Right.
And the way that works is when you're on the floor, the offense that you get is put up against the defense, the defensive points that are given up. So she's at a +8 almost,
Yes.
which is huge.
Well, yeah, and that's like I said, we didn't have her at Rock Creek the other night.
yeah, that
But,
makes a difference.
No, Emma is such a workhorse, and what she lacks in size, she lacks in heart and learning and listening and, rebounding. I don't know where she was like third or fourth.
Yeah, she's third right now.
Yeah, I mean, she's not a big girl.
No, she most of the time she is the smallest girl on the floor.
But her heart, she has a nose for the ball. You can see she's reading the shot and where's it's going. Defense, she's one that I know when I have her in there, she's a good one that I know is going to slide over and help. And, sometimes she's just not big enough. But she does all those little things so well.
Yeah,
her name doesn't get
it doesn't show up quite as much. But what's funny is in the plus minus it does. It shows up because she's on the floor doing the little things that don't show up in the other categories and helping the team.
Right. Yeah. She does all the little dirty work things that, like you said, people don't. Like just watching the game, you may not realize it.
No,
but like you said,
there's games where I don't call her name at all, but she's still a +8, which tells you, she may not be scoring. I think she's averaging 4 points a game or something. She's not a big scorer, but when she's on the floor, the team is scoring, and the opposite team, the opposing team, is not scoring.
Right. And a lot of teams, you will see that good teams have that player that just kind of is the workhorse person. And now I will say too, Emma this year, I've been real proud of her. She's really worked on her outside shot, and she's really worked on the mid-range.
Yeah, she's got a nice little floater down the lane. When she gets by somebody and gets them on her hip, she can put up that little floater that works for her.
She's really, stepped it up in that this year. Last year, I don't think, she.
Yeah, I think she's got more confidence this year than she did last year.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, you've got a busy next couple of weeks. Like I said, tomorrow you've got Crawford County here at home. That game is at 7:30. Full JV for that one. The next game will be Paoli the following week. So you've got 7 days off kind of there to recover a little bit, and then you finish with Brownstown and Paoli in that same week. So you've got Brownstown on a Saturday. Midday, which I know is not the favorite.
That's our favorite.
But then you've got Borden after that, so you've got a tough schedule coming up. Your girls are playing some good basketball. They're 7-10 right now. I know that you're hoping to be above that 500 mark by the time the sectional rolls around. You'd like to pick up 4 wins, and that's going to be a pretty tough task here with your final 4 games that you've got. But look forward to calling your games and having you, in the next couple of weeks for Coach's Corner.
I appreciate that. Okay. I appreciate everything you do for us.
Well, we're going to step aside, take a commercial break, and we'll be back with Senator Boys head coach Jamie Cummings.
In 2012, the Washington County Community Foundation began working on its next big initiative, Education Matters. The goal of Education Matters is to increase the educational attainment of adults residing in our county. The initial focus has centered on adults with some college and no degree. With the assistance of scholarships and a peer mentoring program, the foundation began helping adults return to college to complete their degree or obtain a certification in 2013. Realizing that strength lies in numbers, Washington County partnered with Clark, Floyd, Harrison, and Scott counties to create Education Matters Southern Indiana. This initiative continues to build.
As your American Family Insurance agent, Michael Long can offer you dependable auto, home, business, and life insurance, as well as other insurance products. He's big enough to serve and small enough to care. His team and their unique backgrounds, trainings, and experiences have prepared them well to help meet your insurance needs. Additionally, as residents of your community, they understand how important it is to be there for you. Together, they are building strong partnerships that help everyone succeed. When it comes to your car insurance, you deserve more than a card tucked in your glove box. That's why American Family Car Insurance goes beyond a piece of paper or an app to give you smart, customized coverage and real peace of mind. No matter how your life changes, you can feel comfortable you will have the right auto insurance protection and support every step of the way. Not sure how much or what type of coverage is right for you? Michael Long is the person to talk to.
And we're back to Senator Sports Talk. I'm here with head boys basketball coach Jamie Cummings. It's been, quite a while since we've talked. It was before Christmas. We were heading into the holiday tournament. Last time we talked, you were able to go to the holiday tournament. You lost the first one to a very tough Borden team there, 48-38, where I thought your boys played, really well in that game. Just couldn't kind of get the offense going. I know you want more than 38 points a night. You want, like you've said, you want one more than the opposing team. Just weren't able to do it that night, but then you come back the following night with Salem, and you're able to knock them off again the second time, 52-46. So a great game with them. And then you've got the Northeast DuBois tournament that you go to, and play that over Christmas break. So talk to me a little bit about how your boys have been playing.
Well, I feel like we're getting better. I just want to continue to get better and be better in March than we were at the beginning of the season. Right now we're battling still some injuries, and the sickness bug's going through us pretty good right now. But I talked to him today about next man up, and I think we've done a good job of that. We've kind of got a good rotation going now throughout the games, throughout Christmas break, and we've played a couple times there. And we kind of know what we're doing there. We've moved Colton Brown up basically full-time varsity now, so got him another quarter, and I don't have to worry about, burning 3 or 4 seconds here or there and it being a whole quarter. So I feel like our rotation's good. The kids are, I call them kids. They're not kids, young men. I didn't mean to do that, fellas. Sorry. I think they're doing a really good job. I think they're trying to do what we're asking them to do. They're getting better at it. They're, getting in their spots sooner and quicker. And I just hope we can continue, for another couple months and see how good we can be at the end.
Yeah, you talked about you're getting better, and the thing that when I look at your record, you're 4-6 right now, but 4 of those 6 losses are in overtime or by less than 3 points. So
close games are coach's fault.
Well, I'm sure your players appreciate that. That you're taking those personally. But your record very easily could be 8-2 at the moment. And you've played some pretty close games. The Perry Central game, when we come back from Christmas break, you go to Perry, which is a hard place to play at. It's a place that, we go every other year. You go there and are unable to get that win. It goes into overtime. Your boys play really well. It wasn't there that night. You get some open looks that don't go for you. You have a couple of people that get in a little early foul trouble, which you see some of your kids grow very quickly when they have to get on the court and they don't have somebody who's usually on the court with them. Talk to me a little bit about that Perry game.
Well, that's a unique game, a different time zone. It's just different. It's unique. They had their homecoming that night, and that makes it a little different as well. But I thought we got through the mental piece of that. That can just crush you if you're not ready. But I think we're getting mentally tougher, mentally stronger. I felt like we played well that night. Like you said, the ball didn't bounce our way a time or two, and a couple of turnovers here or there. A made shot here or there. It's a different game, and that's the way those 4 losses that you're referring to have all went. One game we really struggled at the free throw line. We lost.
I'm going to take the blame for that one.
You can have that one. I'll share it with you. I do take ownership for the close game losses. We need to figure it out. We need to just find a way not to turn it over. We need to find a way to make one more basket here or there, and that is on me. I know the guys, they missed a layup or whatever. They feel like it's all them. It's 32 minutes. I'm trying to preach that it's really not even those 32 minutes. It's not Friday or Saturday night. It's the week leading up to it, right? You get ready for wins and losses through the summer. You're better than somebody by what you put in the off season.
Yeah.
You're better Monday through Thursday than them. You'll beat them Friday and Saturday. I mean, that's where we need to get. That needs to be our mindset. Now we're trying to push it that way and make some adjustments there, and then hopefully second half of the season we'll get some bounces go our way and win some of those close ones.
Those of you who didn't know, I made the comment after the Salem game that they shot free throws really well, and then they go to Pekin and don't shoot free throws very well. So that's why I'm taking the blame for that one, because I'm the one who made the comment. about that. You have Lanesville, who comes in last week. First time home in all over 30 days. First time here in the T. Kermit Tower Gymnasium on the Ron Smith court, and your boys come out and put up 54 points and hold Lanesville only to 27. And just a good all-around game by a lot of different players.
That was the biggest, best performance for 4 quarters, and the biggest, best team performance. We didn't have one guy go off for 20. We've had games where guys have really dominated. We got them the ball. Yes, other guys got them involved, but that was just like the whole team. Everybody that got on the court did well. We got some guys off the bench late, and they came in and played well. We kept the intensity up. Didn't matter what the score was. I'm not so sure that we've won all 4 quarters very often this season. Even in our wins, we were down in some of those games and came back late to win those ball games. So this was a game we just came out and took control early, and we stayed on top.
Point-wise, you're led by your 2 seniors, Ian Rosenbaum and Kenton Chase. They both had 14 in that game, so putting up points, those 2 really did it for you. But freshman Holden Russell comes in. He chips in 13, is 3 of 4 from the 3-point line. He's 2 of 2 from 2-point range. Is 5 of 6 from 2-point range and 2 of 2 from free throws. I mean, so he's doing it all. I talked to you the very first Senator Sports Talk. I'm a big plus-minus guy, and he was plus 32 in that game.
Yeah, I look at that one too. I think it's a telling stat, right? It kind of jumps out at you real quick.
Yeah,
it tells you.
To me, it takes everything kind of into consideration and puts it all kind of together. And to have, usually, for those of you out there listening, usually you've got guys who are, a good game, they're plus 10, they're plus, 15 in that range. If you've got somebody who goes off for, 25, 30 points, you're in the plus, 20 range. But to only score 13 points and be plus 32, that's huge.
Yeah, his minutes were huge. Like I said, everybody was that night. And when we outscored him as much as we did, he played a lot of that game. He's making shots for us. You mentioned that game. He's made shots the last 3 or 4 games.
Oh, yeah.
He's hit a couple of threes. I don't know in every game the last 4 or 5, but it seems like he's sticking 1 or 2 in every game right now. So we need somebody to step up and make shots. We're not shooting the ball great. We got some good shooters, and they just haven't got the rhythm, haven't found that stride yet. They're getting ready to. I know they are. They're working on their shot. We got guys coming in a little bit earlier. We've talked about that. You just can't show up and practice 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's doing in the whole state right now.
Right.
So what are we doing outside of that time? And we're starting to see some movement there in a positive way, which is great. So, you kind of make your own breaks. If you put in the time, you get rewarded a lot of times. The ball does bounce your way if you just kind of throw a little bit more effort out there.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that.
Talking about the ball kind of bouncing your way, Ian Rosenbaum leading your team in rebounds. He had 10 in that game. He's averaging, I think, between 8 and 9 a game. He's really getting in there and mixing it up, pulling down those rebounds. What do you see on that side, that part, that piece of your team?
Well, the piece of the team, he's definitely carrying us. I don't think we're a strong rebounding team. That piece is, to me, a little weaker.
That was where I was going next. So
that's weaker than I want it to be. Ian has done a great job. I need some other guys to step up there and push their numbers up. We have to rebound as a team. We don't have a great athlete that's going to go get the ball. We got to block out. We got to be in position defensively to block out, and then we got to run through the basketball and go get it. Sometimes we kind of stop and reach, and if you stop, don't run through the ball, that's the difference in them tipping it out of bounds, killing your transition, you getting a physical rebound versus the team rebound. Ian's done great. Ian got a compliment the other day from a guy, the coach, he's really posting up and playing stronger. Yeah. He's wide, he's low, and that makes a difference. He's figured out some stuff. He's an injured, he lost some time, and then he grew, and then he's trying to figure out this. You look at him, and he's not always been 6'5".
No.
So he's trying to figure some things out, and we are too. We want to put him in. We want to put all our guys in a position to win, where they're most successful. He's figuring a lot out, and yes, as a team, we got to do a better job of rebounding the ball. That piece needs to.
So that's where I'm going next. Ian, your tallest kid on the floor, him and Titan pretty close to the same height. Ian's grabbing about 10 a game, 8 to 10 a game. But then Jackson Cameron comes in as probably your next rebounding person, and he's getting about 4 a game. So that's saying something, going from your tallest kid to your shortest kid on your team.
Yeah. So Jackson,
He's sneaky with his rebounds. Like, you don't. I look down and I don't realize that he's got 6 or 7, and he does.
so we talk about at least 3.5 guys going to the boards, and we play Valley Friday night. Transition is going to be a big thing. We like to get it out. So do you still send 3.5 or 4? I don't know. We're going to try, and then rotate on the back. Jackson, you watch Jackson. Jackson, he's not a big guy, but Jackson puts himself in a position
right
to try and
spot.
go get
Yep.
the ball, where other guys will stand at the line and watch it. So yeah, you'll see Jackson working, putting out the effort. So it does show up in the stats, and that's what it is. If you just stand at the 3-point line and watch, it's most likely not going to bounce to you. And we got
Yeah.
some guys that are guilty of that.
Well, I think that's a lot with the high school game. You have guys who consider themselves 3-point shooters, and they kind of stay out in that area where if they do crash the board when they're not shooting it, turn and crash, they can get a lot of rebounds on that weak side because they come off to you there. We're talking about rebounds, points per game. Ian leading your team with 13. Kenton Chase is your second one with 9, and then Jackson with 8. You've got your 2 freshmen who are playing, quite a bit of minutes, along with Titan Williams. Who are you looking for next to kind of step up, or are you just looking for kind of a balance of all of them?
Well, we're looking for a superstar.
Yeah, well, exactly. I don't know that if you find one roaming the halls, grab him up.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm looking for.
Titan comes out in the holiday tournament that we were talking
Right.
about and scores 19. So he's capable of scoring. Kenton Chase has had games where he's in the 14-15 range. So everybody on your team is able to score. It's just every night, can we get 3 or 4 people in those double digit?
We got different strengths, right, as players.
Yeah.
Some guys are good inside, some are good out, some are good against the zone, some are better against the man-to-man. Some can, you can drive. That kind of helps Kenton. If we see
Yeah.
man-to-man,
Yeah.
he's hard to hold one-on-one. We got different sets we run for guys, and we are running them for Jackson, Ian, and Kenton more so than the other guys. Titan was, he benefited by being active on the backside.
Yeah,
that's the best movement he's had in the time I've been here. His legs have bothered him, his knees, and I just think he was feeling good. He was moving good. He was in the right spot. Guys were finding him on that backside. He got a couple of rebounds on that backside. He got 1 or 2, and it felt pretty good. It tasted good. He wanted another
keep
bite.
going back.
So he was active, and I think he felt good that game. And none of us know how much he's hurting or
Right.
where he's at. So he's definitely capable, and if we could get him, obviously around the rim, 6, 7, 8 shots, he's got good post moves.
Oh yeah. Well, that leads me into my next kind of thing. Titan Williams shooting 63% from the floor. If you can get a high school kid shooting 63%, and you're 10 games into the season, that's a pretty good clip. A lot of his shots do come off of rebounds and his inside post game, so he's closer to the bucket, but still 63%. That's good.
Yeah, we've talked about going up strong, not leaning, just finishing, going through the contact. Titan's a super nice kid for anybody that knows him. I wish he was mean.
Yeah.
I wish he was
He doesn't.
meaner.
He just doesn't have a mean bone in his
He's
body.
just a really nice guy. I don't see him go through many practices without a smile.
No, it's
sure.
funny when I see the end of your practices. He's always joking. He's having a good time, which is good. You want high school kids to have a good time.
Absolutely.
You've already talked about it. Your next game up is Springs Valley. They're 8-4 on the year. They've got a transition game that in this area is probably second to none. They want to get up and down the floor. Not a whole lot of sets. Kind of a very fluid offense. Get the ball. They've got 3 or 4 different scores that they can go through. Without giving away your game plan, how do you prepare for that?
Well, we're very thin, as I said. I wish we had more.
Well, hang
more
on.
guys here.
Let's go to another topic. You did pick up 2 new players over the Christmas kind of break area. You did get Dane Crowder in. He's a freshman who's coming in, helping your JV team a little bit there, and then you got Cash Long also.
Yes, and Brady's healthy.
Brady's healthy now.
Rosebaum's
Yes,
healthy.
and I forgot Cree Zink also is back.
And we say Cree's
kind of
back. Brady's back. He's still trying to nurse his foot, and there are times it hurts, and he's trying to get through that stuff. Will Cummings is even trying to practice a little bit now. So it's really funny or weird or just crazy for me. One night I'll have 11, the next night I have 15, and then, you know, I can go 60% coach, or I'm like, okay. It's different. So how do I prepare? I want, you know, a lot of guys fresh and being able to push the ball like somewhat. We can't duplicate what Valley's going to do, but we would like to duplicate their efforts and push the ball and then get used to trying to transition at that pace. But we're having a hard time doing it. We're just so thin, but we're getting up and down the court a little more. We're going in 10-minute sessions. We don't really stop the ball much. Just the guys got to run. They got to condition. They got to be in top shape because they're not going to get a lot of rest because we are thin. We're going to play 7 or 8. Guy we haven't talked about who's gave us some good minutes lately is Hayden Morrow.
Yeah.
Going to utilize him some more, and we're looking at some other guys on the JV that's had good games and trying to even get them some minutes here or there.
You know, one that I was really impressed with in your Lanesville game, he got in late, was Nash Abels. He got in and, you know, got some time with those other freshmen on the floor and was able to kind of show his athletic ability. He was able to move through the floor and looked pretty fluid out there with some of your number one guys.
Yeah, I like Nash a lot. I'm trying to challenge Nash to defend and rebound.
Yeah.
Nash likes to shoot the ball, and he's really good at it. I'm looking forward to having him for 3 more years after this, and he's going to shoot a bunch. But I got to get him defending and rebounding. The other day, forget which game it was, I said there's 4 minutes to go. You got to get a rebound every minute, and I was pushing him for 5, so maybe there was 5 minutes. And I think he got 4.
Well,
and he really made an effort to go get it and did a great job. Unfortunately, he's been sick this week, so he is a guy that we got our eyes on, trying to figure out how to get him some time. Again, with only having 11 or 12 most of the time.
Right, it's a hard fight to get it.
I can't move a guy up for 3 minutes because that's a full quarter.
Right.
So we're just really fragile in that area. But now we got a few more guys. We can start.
You can start getting a little bit of help from that JV team, moving some guys up and getting some quarters from them. So we talked about, you know, the Springs Valley team, super athletic, you know, up and down the floor. Dion Edwards kind of leads their charge over there, their offense. If it goes through one, it kind of goes through him a little bit, but they're pretty balanced across the board. You play that game Friday night, then you turn around and Saturday you're back here with South Central, who is an 8-3 team. You know, they play some pretty solid basketball, you know, down there in Elizabeth. You know, just have it kind of figured out what they're doing. You know, how do your boys? You've talked about it. You're thin. You've got kids who are playing, you know, quite a few minutes. They're gonna have a double dip this weekend. How do you save some legs? Do you not?
No, I don't. I'm gonna try and win Friday night. If that means, you know, I don't see anybody playing 32 minutes, but you know, it could happen. I don't want anybody playing 32 and 32 back to back, but. I know a lot of coaches play that way and what have you. I think Friday will be a sprint.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree with that. Friday's going to be an up and down game.
So, yeah, if you go 32 minutes that game, you should be tired come Saturday. But these are, you know, 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds. They seem to bounce back a lot quicker than I do. So they don't mind playing.
No.
They really don't. They want on the floor.
I think
they're
group
disappointed. You know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think your group, you know, if you could schedule 3 games in a row, they'd be fine with it.
They'd probably rather do that than practice with.
Well, I don't know about that, but you know, they definitely like to be on the court. They like to be together for sure.
Yeah. So no, I can get through Friday first. You got to win that one, whatever that takes, and then we'll see. You know, that's kind of the way it's been with the injuries and the sickness.
Well, it's
been crazy. It's just who's here.
Yeah,
that's
it's how do you set a game plan when you're not sure who you're going to have? I mean, that's you know, you talked about Nash Abels maybe getting some varsity, you know, minutes, but he's been sick this week, so maybe he's not. And then, you know, who are you going to fill in with on the JV side for that? And it's always a puzzle that you're trying to put together, but sometimes you don't even have all the pieces for the puzzle.
That's where we're at. I literally just kind of wait and see who's here, and then we go. It's not been the best thing, but it is what it is. You can't control that stuff. No one wants to be hurt. No one wants to be sick. So the guys are doing a good job and just rotating the next guy. But yeah, you got Nash and Nolan. Long has been sick, and I think those two are probably I don't know this, but You've seen the stats on the JV. I don't know if we got a printable
Yeah,
stat.
yeah.
Anyway, I would venture to say those are the 2 leading scorers.
They are.
And they've been out, this week. So who's going to step up for the JV?
Right.
They've had a good run. So, someone's getting a chance.
So your season is kind of a two-headed monster, I guess you would say. You start off, with some really tough games, then you get some in the middle that are, I wouldn't say they're easier, but they're a touch lighter of a team, and then you finish off with some pretty tough ones. Your boys they've gone through the first part of the season. They've had Christmas break. How do you keep them motivated this part of the year? You're still a month and a half away from sectional play. They know that's the goal. How do you keep them motivated?
Well, I hope they're motivated. I want them.
Well, when I talk to them in the hallway, they are. So
I mean, man, if I could play tomorrow, I would be extremely motivated because I was getting to play. You wouldn't have to do or say much. No, we want to encourage them as much as we can. We want to be positive. We want to lift them up. We get down and we just need picked up as people. We try and do that for one another. We're trying to do that as a team and be there constantly encouraging. I hope basketball practice, I hope their basketball game is one of the highlights of their day. I want it to be a lot of fun, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes basketball practice isn't a lot of fun. But I do think they enjoy being with their buddies in the gym, and that should motivate them. There's people their age fighting wars, so
yeah.
We're in the gym playing basketball. Just try and keep it real like that, and know that it's a game, and we get to play it, and I get to coach it. So
there you go.
It's a lot of
there
fun.
You go. So, Coach, you've got 2 games this weekend. I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you, for stopping in and joining us. I will make sure. I'm going to apologize right now. Crees Inc. was with you on your last game, and I was already off the air. I'm apologizing for that. But we will be ready for you at the end of the Springs Valley game for you and a player, or just you, or whatever you want to bring. We'll have it ready for you for that. But, I'm looking forward.
877-227-9421. That's 877-227-9421. Or just visit our website.
United Producers Inc. We are the largest livestock marketing company in the world. We currently have 17 auction markets and 23 direct buying stations across Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, Tennessee, and Illinois. Our goal is to market your livestock to maximize your dollar while implementing animal safety procedures. To find your local market, visit our website at uproducers.com or contact Ryan Batt at 812-620-0769. Again, that is 812-620-0769. Farmer owned, farmer values.